So you've been reading the headlines about a surge in power of sale listings across the Greater Toronto area. And in today's episode, I want to unpack where are we seeing the majority of these listings? Are we seeing more in condos or in houses? And what municipalities are seeing more power of sale listings relative to others? And of course, how is that impacting average prices? So these are some of the questions I'm going to unpack today. My name is John Pasalis. My team and I help home buyers and sellers throughout the Toronto area with all of their real estate needs. As always, if you'd like to meet with me and my team, please click the link in the show notes below, or you can shoot me an email at askjohn@movesmartly.com. So, as I said, we've been seeing a lot of headlines about power sale listings. My good friend and colleague Peter Kirizopoulos at Remax Ultimate has been tracking these. He shared some statistics with Ben Rabideau showing the month-over-month change. So I got him on the I messaged him just to get a sanity check on all of my analysis that we're doing today, because there's no perfect way of analyzing power of sales. We got to look at MLS data. We got to look at seller fields to basically try to determine whether listings are power of sales, looking at if they're flagged as power of sales or bank sales or so on and so forth. So after looking at the data, what we're seeing this year, I mean, if we just take a look at, for example, the first 3 quarters of this year, power of sales are up about 70%, probably close to 1,200 listings this year are power of sales. So yeah, 70% increase over the first 3 quarters of 2024. So a very big increase. Now, what I want to look at today is where are we seeing these power of sale listings? So, when we look at numbers, we can just look at the number of power sales listings in one particular municipality relative to another, because I mean, the city of Toronto has 56,000 listings every year. Some of the suburban municipalities only have 1 or 2 or 3,000 listings. So they're kind of an apples to oranges comparison. So of course, Toronto has the highest volume, actual numbers of power of sale listings. But what we need to do is get a better understanding of the number of power sale listings relative to the total number of new listings hitting the market. That kind of gives us a better idea of how concentrated power of sale listings are in one region versus another. Now, but before we look at municipalities, I thought I'd look at what types of homes are we seeing power of sales in. I think a lot of people assumed or think that maybe some of them are in the condo market because a lot of those were investor owned. But condos are actually relatively low compared to the other housing types. Just under about 0.7% of all the new listings of condominiums are actual power of sales, compared to 1% of all new listings of detached homes. So detached homes have the highest rate of power of sales, largely because they're significantly more expensive than condominiums. And in some cases, they're, of course, owner occupied. In some cases, they're investor owned. But the point is that they typically have much bigger mortgages on them. So this is the segment where we're actually saying the highest share of power of sale listings, it is in the detached homes. Now, when we look at where we are seeing the highest rate of power of sale listings, again, we're looking at the total number of power of sales divided by the number of new listings to find the share of listings that are power of sales in each municipality. And this next chart shows effectively pretty much all the municipalities across the Greater Toronto area. And at the top of the list is a municipality called Brock, which is quite outside. I mean, one of these outer suburban municipalities that people are flocking to during COVID to buy homes. And they have about 3% of all of their listings are actual power of sales. Rounding up the top 5 is Ajax, Stouffville, Oshawa, and Brampton. And they're all in and around just slightly above or slightly below 1.5% of new listings are power of sales. Now, of course, some of these municipalities, as I said, Stouffville, Oshawa, and Brock, were areas that people were rushing to during COVID. They saw among the most rapid increase in prices, and now are seeing quite a bit of downward pressure, and of course, some distressed selling as well. Now, this isn't just a suburban trend where, the suburbs are the hardest hit, because there are a lot of suburban municipalities that are at the low end. So if we look at the lowest 5 municipalities in terms of the lowest volume of power sales relative to new listings, We see Aurora, Markham, Burlington, and Vaughan in there at around 0.5%. So they're the kind of seeing the lowest rate of power of sales relative to the other municipalities. Some of these were a little bit more affluent areas, of course, Aurora, Markham, Vaughan. So they're a little bit more established. They probably didn't see the same rapid appreciation as we saw during COVID, and they're a little bit more stable. Toronto is about 0.9%. So the actual city of Toronto is 0.9%. So kind of in the higher end or close to the middle when we compare, all the municipalities in the GTA. Now, when we think about how this is impacting prices, I mean, it's not a very straightforward. I wish it was a very simple story to say the highest the share of power sales, the biggest impact in prices. The challenge, of course, is that if we want to really zero in on the impact in prices, what I did in this next chart is compare, third quarter, roughly the third quarter of 2025 versus the third quarter of 2024. It's kind of the most timely data. If we do a whole year's worth of data, we're not getting that precision. But the downside of that is that in some cases the samples are a little bit small. There aren't tons of transactions, so the average prices can be a little bit volatile, and the changes in average prices can be volatile. But one noteworthy trend, as I kind of pull up this chart that shows the year-over-year change in average prices by municipality, and I've ordered all of these municipalities in the same order as the share of power of sales. So at the top of the list sort of has the lowest volume of power of sales. At the very bottom where Brock is the highest. And the municipalities, 2 of the 3 with the highest share of power of sales, in this case, Brock and Stouffville, are also seeing the highest year-over-year decline in average prices. Brock prices around 15% year-over-year from third quarter of 2025 to third quarter of 2024. And Stouffville is down 13.5% year-over-year. So again, but when you look at some of the other municipalities, the story is less clear. Some have modest change. There's a couple that are actually positive. So take the average price changes with a grain of salt. Again, it's 1 quarter of data, but it is interesting to see that the top 2 with the highest power sales are also among the biggest and steepest declines in average prices. Now, I'll end off by saying when we zero in, and we can zero in a little bit further and look at which neighborhoods have the highest share of power of sale listings. And again, these samples are of course smaller, but they still have, a fair number of transactions that are power of sales. And the data is again here interesting. And the top of the list, interestingly, is one neighborhood in Toronto called Highland Creek, where 10% of the listings are power of sale listings, followed by West Shore and Pickering. And at the bottom of the list is Donovan and Oshawa. And those, the bottom 6 or 7, 8 are right around 3% power of sale listings. So again, not a concrete trend. You can't say it's just in one region versus another. They're, a little bit varied. But again, we are seeing some trends in the sense that when we look at the municipalities, some of the municipalities in the outskirts are hardest hit. Brampton is one area that had a ton of investors buying homes, converting them into rooming houses. That segment is probably feeling a little bit of a pinch right now because international students are on the decline. So people who bought them to rent them out as rooming houses are probably struggling right now. So there are some interesting trends in the data, but again, I think it's actually quite early. We actually started to see power of sales really increase quite a bit over the past, say last quarter of 2024 moving into 2025. And we'll have to see, of course, how all of these numbers and these trends evolved as we move into the end of this year and the beginning of next year. So I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please post them in the comments below or shoot me an email at askjohn@newsmartly.com.